Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 26th of October 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover a mapping topic and then we are going to cover those topics that were in the editorial section of the newspaper. Apart from this, we are also going to cover other important articles that will help you to clear the UPSC CSE prelims and mains exam. So with this, let us now quickly see the list of topics that we are going to cover in today's newspaper analysis session. So these are the list of articles that we are going to discuss. Name of these articles along with their relevance with the syllabus is mentioned, and also we have mentioned the page number right over here. So you can go through them in your free time. So these are other articles that we are going to cover. All right. So the first topic, which is a mapping topic that we are going to discuss today, right? It's a mapping topic. Name of the topic is Doklam Plateau. What? Doklam Plateau. So we are going to discuss about Doklam Plateau. We are going to understand about the importance of this plateau. All right. So this Doklam Plateau is of prime importance for India. It's a strategic location. Why it's a strategic location? Because it lies at tri-junction between India, Bhutan, and China. Okay, for example, like Doklam Plateau is located somewhere here, so it does have a tri-junction. What? Tri-junction between three countries. What are those countries? One of the countries, let's say India, second country is Bhutan, and third country is China. These are the three countries, right, between which this location exists. This is Doklam Plateau, and this Doklam Plateau has been a point of contention between India and China. And so what has happened, I mean, like few years back there was a tussle between Indian armed forces and the Chinese armed forces. Chinese armed forces tried to, let's say, infiltrate let's say, through this particular area towards India. Means like they tried to capture some of the territories in India through this particular plateau. So as we can see, this Doklam Plateau, it is, let's say, it shares its borders with Bhutan, it shares its border with India and also with China. In India, this particular portion, that we see, it is the state of Sikkim in India. Okay, it is the state of Sikkim in India, and Sikkim has been in news recently. Why? Because there was a glacial lake outburst flood, and because of which one of the lake has seen a glacial lake outburst flood. Okay, so that has caused havoc in the lives of people, and let's say, properties have been washed away because of this particular flood. So this is an important prime location, and we want that at this particular location there should be peace, there should be stability, and we want to avoid any, let's say, conflict in this region. And since Chinese have been Chinese have been, let's say, involved in some kind of aggression over here, so we need to make it sure that this region remains peaceful. And why we are discussing this particular topic today? It is because recently what has happened, the foreign minister of Bhutan has visited China. Okay, foreign minister of Bhutan has visited China, and he has met his counterpart. He has met the Chinese foreign minister. Although Bhutan and China have not established any diplomatic relations between them, means they do not have their, let's say, ambassadors posted in each other's country. But yet this particular visit by the foreign minister of Bhutan, let's say, in China, assumes significance. They have visited over there to demarcate the territories, to demarcate the border lines between Bhutan and China. And this demarcation of the border lines is a very important exercise that Bhutan is going to do with China. Okay, it is going to do a very important exercise with China. So good afternoon, Hare Krishna, thank you so much for joining. So we are discussing the first topic. It is a mapping topic. We are discussing the Doklam Plateau. All right. So over here what happens, like Bhutan wants to demarcate, it wants to draw the boundary line with China so that Chinese aggression does not happen in future. And this is a peaceful exercise that they are going to do. And they have also, let's say, released a statement. They have released a, let's say, like, joint statement. In that statement, they have said that they are soon going to establish diplomatic relations between them. And since Bhutan is a very nearby country to India, means like, Bhutan shares border with India, and it shares border with India in one of its strategic location, which is, let's say, it is also known as Chicken's Neck. This particular location is known as Chicken's Neck because it showcases that structure. And if this chicken's neck is cut off, in that case, like, India will not be having access to the northeastern India. So that this location, I mean, like, the Sikkim, the location of Sikkim is of utmost prime importance for India. So we need to safeguard Sikkim, we need to safeguard the Doklam Plateau. I mean, like, although Doklam Plateau is a tri-junction, right, we need to safeguard this to have our access to the northeast India. Okay, that's the thing. And this particular corridor, this particular place, because below this we have this Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a country, right? Bangladesh is a country. So below this we have Bangladesh. Above this we have over here Nepal, right? We have Nepal. So this is Siliguri corridor. Through this corridor, let's say, like, we get connectivity. We get connected from mainland India to the northeastern India. This location is very important. Today there is an article also related to this. We are going to discuss more about it in that article. So as I discussed that it is a tri-junction, okay. So this is where Doklam is located, okay, Doklam. So it's a tri-junction. So on one side, let's say, it shares border with Bhutan. On other area, it shares border with Sikkim, and then it has connectivity with China also. And there is a location which is known as Chumbi Valley. This Chumbi Valley is our, let's say, like, is a region in China, as we can see over here. This is also important. And we do have a mountain pass, the mountain pass that connects India, let's say, like, with China. So this mountain pass is known as Nathula. Okay, this is known as Nathula. So this is also very important. Okay, so this is Doklam Plateau that we discussed. So with this, now let us quickly move to discuss the first topic. All right. So those people who are attending the class online, I would request you to participate in the discussion. If you have any questions, you can write your questions over there, and also mark your presence that you are attending the class. Okay, so, like, that makes the interaction to be let's say, like, bi-directional. I hear from you and I respond to your queries. That becomes very interactive. All right, so we are going to start the discussion with the first topic. This topic says the legality of using white phosphorus. Okay, so we are going to understand about this topic, and this topic is very important for GS paper 2. It's important under international relations. We are going to discuss about many things in this article. What we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about what is white phosphorus. Okay, we are going to discuss what is white phosphorus. Also, we are going to discuss about some of the conventions. One of the convention that we are going to discuss is Chemical Weapons Convention. In short, it is known as CWC. Third convention that we are going to discuss is related to the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, okay, which is known as CCW. Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, okay. We are going to discuss about this also. And then we are going to discuss about, let's say, like, the Israel-Hamas, or, like, Israel-Hamas conflict. Okay, Israel-Hamas conflict that is happening. So these are the objectives of this article. Through this article, we are going to learn about these topics. So let's start the discussion. Okay, so first topic that we are going to discuss is the legality of using white phosphorus. The legality of using white phosphorus. So let us understand what is white phosphorus. Okay, we need to understand first that what is white phosphorus. Why white phosphorus is being discussed, right? So white phosphorus is a kind of powdery substance, okay? It's a kind of powdery substance, okay? Powdery or powder, right? Powdery substance. Why we are discussing this topic? Because white phosphorus finds its applications, right? It finds its applications in ammunitions, okay? In ammunitions. Ammunitions means like in guns, it is used. It is also used to create smoke screens, okay? It is used to create smoke screens. What do we mean by smoke screens? Means, for example, if you are in a state of warfare with some enemy face to face, you can use white phosphorus. So it's going to create a kind of, let's say, a shield in the sense like, they will not be able to see you. So it's going to create a haze kind of thing. So this white screen actually helps the, let's say, like, that party which is using it to, let's say, have some tactical movements, right? They'll be able to do some tactical movements, and the enemy will not be knowing about it, okay? So that's the thing. So it is used in guns, it is used in smoke screens, it is used in, let's say, like, pistols, etc. Okay, pistols, etc. That's the thing. So it's a powdery substance. However, using this particular substance has some negative repercussions. Means like there are some negative repercussions which are known as cons. First of all, it does have environmental problems, okay? It causes what? Environmental pollution. That's the thing. It causes environmental pollution. Second, it may harm, right? It may harm civilians also, okay? It may harm civilians. That's the thing. So it does have negative aspects associated with it. So that's why there have been multiple, let's say, like conventions. That convention prohibit the use of white phosphorus, okay? Why they prohibited the use of white phosphorus? Because of an international principle, okay? That principle we are going to discuss about, right? We are going to discuss about that international principle of warfare. One of the principle of, it is like principle of warfare. So when nations are in a warfare with one another, in that case, there are some principle. One of the principle is known as the principle of distinction, okay? It is known as principle of distinction. What do we mean by principle of distinction? It means the warring parties should, let's say, treat the armed forces of the other party, the armed forces and their ammunitions differently as they treat civilians, okay? So civilians must be treated differently in the sense that, like, warring parties, let's say, like, there is party 1, warring party 1, there is warring party 2. So there is a fight between these two parties, but the fight is between the personals of armed forces, between the armed forces, but it's not between the civilians. So the thing is, like, civilian casualty or killing of civilians must be minimized, right? According to the principle of distinction, killing of civilians or harming the civilians or their infrastructure or their properties must be minimized, must be the least possible. And like, if parties are at warfare with one another, they can, let's say, like, attack the armed forces of the other country. This is known as principle of distinction. This is a part of international humanitarian laws, okay? So there are international humanitarian laws that talks about principle of distinction. But today we are going to talk about some of the conventions, okay? We are going to discuss about some conventions. So one of the convention that we are going to discuss, name of this convention is known as Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, okay? It is known as Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. Convention on Certain conventional weapons. It is known as CCW, Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. So what is this convention all about? As part of these conventions, there are about, let's say, 5 protocols. How many protocols are there? 5 protocols. And these 5 protocols have been signed by various parties. Okay, these have been signed by the member parties. Member parties means different states. So they have signed it. These protocols talks about some of the rules. It talks about some of the rules, or it lays down like which kind of weapons may be used in which cases and which kind of weapons are totally prohibited. Okay, it talks about convention on certain conventional weapons. For example, if I talk about weapons, these are known as incendiary weapons. Okay, one of the weapon category is known as incendiary weapons. Okay, one of the weapon category is incendiary weapons. So what do we mean by incendiary weapons? These are those weapons that, let's say, cause fire. Okay, these are those weapons that cause fire. They cause smoke, fire and smoke, etc. Means those weapons that cause fire, aag jalane wali weapon. Okay, so these are known as incendiary weapon. So this convention on certain conventional weapon talks about how these weapons may be used that cause fire. Okay, so one of the article of this, article 1 of protocol 3. Okay, article 1 of protocol 3, protocol 3, and its article 1 talks about, its article 1 says, incendiary weapons as a weapon or munition primarily designed to set fire to objects or to cause burn, injury to persons through the action of flame, heat or combination thereof, produced by chemical reaction of a substance delivered on the target. All right. So this particular convention, this talks about how conventional weapons has to be used. What are different conventional weapons? It also puts some restriction on using conventional weapons. So this particular convention, right? This particular convention also prohibits the usage of white phosphorus. Okay, this prohibits the usage of white phosphorus, right? This particular convention. Apart from this, we do have another convention also. Okay, we do have another convention. This convention is known as Convention on Chemical Weapons. Okay, this is known as Convention on Chemical Weapons, or it is known as Chemical Weapons Convention. Okay, CWC. Okay, Convention on Chemical Weapons or the Chemical Weapons Convention. Okay, you can write it that way also, the Chemical Weapons Convention. Okay, let me write it that way. Chemical Weapons Convention. This Chemical Weapons Convention is a very, very important convention. According to this convention, storage, let's say according to this convention, making or storage or proliferation, okay, or proliferation of chemical weapons is strictly prohibited. Okay, chemical weapons is strictly prohibited. Means even if parties are warring with one another, if parties are in a stage of war with one another, still making, usage, storage, proliferation of chemical weapons is totally prohibited. So this Chemical Weapons Convention has been signed by almost all countries in the world. So this Chemical Weapons Convention is of 1925, okay, CWC of 1925. So this is the thing. So according this chemical weapons convention, because of this chemical weapons convention, chemical weapons are totally prohibited. For example, COVID-19, it was a kind of virus that had the capacity of killing human beings, right? But if this virus is made by someone to attack some other territory, so this is totally prohibited. Why? Because it will be using this thing indiscriminately, right? Innocent people will be killed. That's the thing, okay? Chemical weapons convention it is known as, okay? Apart from this, there is another thing which is like advisory opinion on the legality of the threat or use of nuclear weapons. So related to this, the International Court of Justice has released a report, and in that report, it, let's say, assesses the effect of specific types of weapons to determine their legality, right? So you need to read this article little bit to understand that parties involved in armed conflict must rigorously adhere to the international humanitarian law to ensure that their actions conform to the legal standards, okay? So whatever actions the warring parties are taking, right, in the warfare, these actions must conform to the international practices, international norms, right, or international laws, right? So they should not, let's say, they should not breach the international laws that are in place. So with this, we have some questions for you. One of the question is given over here. You need to write an answer to this question, and after writing an answer, you can share your answer with us, right? You can share your answer to us at Jahidul@lukmaanias.com. Okay, Jahidul@lukmaanias.com. That's the thing, right? In your free time, you can download this PDF from the description of this YouTube video. So there is a link to download this PDF. You can download this PDF and attempt this question. Then we have another topic. This topic says women, marriage and labor market participation. Okay, women, marriage and labor market participation. So this is a very, very important topic that we are going to discuss. So name of the topic is women, marriage and labor market participation. Women, marriage and labor market participation. So through this article, we are going to understand about participation of women in the labor force. And in that regard, recently a report was published. This report is known as the labor force, it is known as labor force participation rate. I mean, labor force participation. So why we are understanding this particular topic? Because recently what has happened, that the Nobel Prize related to economics, it is also known as Swerage's Risk Bank Prize on Economic Sciences. So this Nobel Prize has been awarded to a woman. Her name is Claudia Goldin. Okay, her name is Claudia Goldin. Claudia Goldin has received something which is known as Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. Okay, Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. Why she has got Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences? Because she has helped us to understand, right? So because the thing is, she has, for having advanced our understanding of women's labor market outcomes, okay, for let's say, increasing our understanding related to women's labor market outcomes, okay, labor market outcomes. And what study did she do? She has studied the past 200, right, past 200 years record of participation of women in the United States of America. And she has come up with a curve. This is known as U-shaped curve, okay, a curve like this. She has created a graph. This graph is known as U-shaped curve. So what do we mean by U-shaped curve? It simply means what happens, during the time when the economy was agrarian, means so there was a time when the economy was agrarian. So that time there were huge participation of women. I mean, women participated in the work, right? But when industrialization happened, okay, when industrialization happened, so participation of women saw a downfall, because in industrialization they had to do manual work, not at home, not in their field. They had to go to the workplace and they had to do manual work in the industries, because they were necessarily making the goods over there. So that's why the participation of women has gone down. But with the coming of the service industry, okay, when the service industry came, right, when the service industry came, so the thing is, participation of women has increased. So this is known as U-shaped curve, and this U-shaped curve has been formulated by Claudia Goldin in her work, where she has analyzed past 200 years record of participation of women in the workforce. She has talked about what are the factors that has affected her participation in workforce when the condition of economy was primarily agrarian. Like what factors contributed to her, let's say, decline in participation in the workforce when there were widespread industrialization, and with the coming of the service sector, how her participation has increased. So these factors she has studied, and she has, let's say, helped the entire world to understand these factors. She said, right, one of the important thing that she said is that men go to work, okay, men go to work, they stay in workplace, right, they earn more. However, these men, they sacrifice, okay, they sacrifice what? Family time. They sacrifice family time to earn money, to, let's say, for the livelihood of their household. So this is about men. This is what she said. When we talk about women, right, women chose to stay at home, okay, women chose to stay at home, either stay at home or this is also known as, she has mentioned that, motherly service. I mean, she stayed at home and she took care of the family, she took care of her child. And what she did in this process, she has sacrificed, okay, she has sacrificed her career, okay, she has sacrificed her career for this. But the thing is, from agrarian economy to industrialization and to service industry, the educational attainment of women has increased. Initially, when the type of economy was agrarian, mostly women preferred not to study. I mean, they were not encouraged also for study. But since the industrialization came, slowly and gradually they started learning some of the things. But with the service industry, means now most of the women are graduating, they are doing post graduation, they are doing PhDs. So the thing is, they are participating in the service industry, like that, okay. So in this article, they have talked about they have talked about Claudia Goldin's work that has got her the Nobel Prize on Economic Sciences. This Nobel Prize is also known as Sorges Prizes for Economic Sciences. Actually, that's the name, official name, but normally it is also referred to as Nobel Prize, right? So this is the thing. So in this article, they talk about that women marriage and labor market participation. So what happens when women marry, okay? So before marriage, what happens, before marriage, right? In case of women, we are talking about in case of women. So before marriage, right, before marriage, what she does normally, she goes for educational attainment, okay, she goes for educational attainment, means she attains education before marriage, right? For most part of her childhood and adolescent phase, she goes for educational attainment. But what happens when she get married, right? So after marriage, right, after marriage, what happens? She becomes part of a household, okay, she becomes part of a household where not only her husband also played role in her decision making. If they had a child, so who is going to take care of the child? The man usually goes to outside to work to earn money for the family. So in that case, her choices are influenced by social factors, influenced by the factors, by the decisions that the entire household takes, and also what the society is going to say. So her thing is influence. So the thing is, after her marriage, even if she chooses to participate in, right, in workforce, but her participation in workforce is not continuous. Why? Because till the time she has a child, before she has a child, right, before she has a child, before a childbirth, right, before childbirth, generally she can participate in the work. But after childbirth, okay, after childbirth, right, after childbirth, she has to, let's say, be care, like, you know, she has to become a caregiver. She has to, let's say, treat her family well. She has to take care of the family. So that's why the marriage also plays a big role in the career of the women, because like after marriage, once she bears a child, once they have children, so the, like, you know, women cannot participate much after the child. I mean, like, you know, this is also known as child rearing. Okay, it is known as child rearing. Means during the early stages of the child, I mean, like, you know, from birth till maybe up to 10 years, right, till maybe up to 10 years, the child is so young, then that the women and the man, they have to take care of the child. After the child's attain certain age, then the women can go back to the service again, can go back to the work again. But by that time, she has, let's say, gap in her employment. Okay, so that, I mean, like, you know, marriage also plays significant role in her decision related to work. Okay, so in this article, they have talked about this. They have talked about data shows low labor participation. Okay, so here, like, you know, they have talked about labor force participation rate. There is a, let's say, like, you know, topic which is known as LFPR. Okay, LFPR. What do we mean by this? It means labor force participation rate. Okay, labor force participation rate. Okay, labor force participation rate. So when we talk about labor force participation rate, okay, when we talk about labor force participation rate, so this is our economic parameter. This is an economic indicator. So people, let's say, identify female labor force participation rate. Okay, female LFPR. In short, it is known as LFPR, female labor force participation rate. They also talk about male labor force participation rate. Okay, male labor force participation rate. So it has been observed that generally the female labor force participation rate is low. It was earlier 37.1% in India, but now it is about 30%. Okay, so the female labor force participation rate has gone down. It is because of multiple factors, right? In case of male labor force participation rate, it is again, let's say, influenced by various factors. That's the thing. So in this article, they have talked about it. They have talked about various parameters under the female, under the labor force participation rate. For example, in India, we use usual principal status. We use, let's say, usual principal and subsidiary status. Okay, one of the thing is known as UPS, usual principal status. Second is known as usual principal and subsidiary status, like that. So these are parameters under the labor force participation rate. So this is an economic indicator. In India, there is an organization which is known as National Sample Survey Office. This National Sample Survey Office conducts kind of survey. Okay, it conducts survey, and according to that survey, it releases data. Okay, it releases data, and this data helps us to identify about labor force participation. Okay, so this National Sample Survey Office releases periodic labor force participation report or survey. Okay, periodic labor force participation rate, okay, survey. So it conducts. So we need to remember name of this organization also, which is National Sample Survey Office. Okay, so finally in this article, the author says that the economic impact of the non-participation of married women in the workforce in India is considerable, given their substantial representation among the working age population. Okay, means most of the women in India are in the working age, let's say working age, but if they are not participating in the economic activities, right, in the economic activities that are paid, in that case it does have substantial impact on the GDP of the country. Earlier we have discussed that even if she is not participating directly into the labor force, but if she is doing work at household, it does have impact on the overall outcome of the GDP, right? So the GDP is increased by 9% because of her participation at the home. That's the thing. So you can go through this article in your free time. Then we have another topic. We are going to discuss about this topic in detail. It says unhealthy urban India must get into street fight mode, right? So this is the thing. In this article, what they have talked about, they have talked about that urban population in India, right? Urban population in India follows unhealthy dietary pattern. We very frequently order foods, right, packaged foods from outside. These packaged foods are mostly unhealthy and it leads to unhealthy dietary pattern among urban population. And through this article, the author wants to suggest that, like, we need to follow a healthy dietary pattern so that our health outcomes improves, right? Related to this, the author has talked about that, like, urban India and multiple health risks. So in urban India means the towns or cities where people stay, right? So we face multiple health risks, and they are related to cardiometabolic diseases. Physical activity by far at most, let's say, effective deterrent. So urban India does lesser physical activity as compared to rural India, because in rural India people participate in agricultural practices. So they, let's say, do physical activities also. In urban India, the lifestyle of people is not that active. Because lifestyle is not active, so we tend to develop cardiovascular diseases. Okay, that's the thing. So it has various repercussions, and now the author says that double or triple duty actions. Okay, so we need to we need to do multiple actions related to this. It says investments such as clean energy and electric mobility, which are underway in India, offer a once in a lifetime opportunity to improve health throughout their immediate and dramatic impact of air pollution levels. Means, we are talking about clean energy. Clean energy means we are thinking of adopting alternative sources of energy that are derived from maybe solar energy, or all the renewable sources of energy are clean energy, right? Even nuclear power is considered to be a cleaner source of energy as compared to fossil fuel based energy. And if we are adopting it, so we are necessarily adopting some healthy things for us, because if we see the current level of pollution in Delhi, if we see current level of pollution in urban cities in India, the pollution levels are at its peak, and Delhi and many metropolitan cities, let's say, rank among the top cities in the world when it comes to pollution levels in these cities, right? So the author says that we need to take steps related to adopting cleaner energy, and also the electric mobility. Means, government of India has incentivized the sector, mobility sector, that all those people, all those companies who are going to work for electric mobility, means electric buses, electric vehicles, so they will be taxed lesser, and they are incentivized also for manufacturing. So that electric mobility is let's say, transforming us towards greener sources of energy, and this is going to help the country to adopt, right, to adopt a healthier thing for the nation. Okay, so the thing is, it is going to make the environment, let's say, livable, so that we can live, let's say, in a pollution free environment. But apart from this, the author says that we also need to focus on regular physical exercise. So regular physical exercise is very important among the urban people. If they don't do it, their health is going to deteriorate day by day. So here in this article, the author has talked about towards holistic urban policy. So we need to have holistic urban policy. We need to create, let's say, pollution free environment. We need to create more park related facilities, so that people can go to the park, they can do exercise, they can inhale fresh air over there. So in this article, the author has discussed many things that are going to be beneficial for the urban population. Okay, so this is a good topic, I would say. It may reflect in GS paper 2, it may come in GS paper 3 as well, it may come in GS paper 1 as well. You need to be able to connect this topic with the syllabus. Okay, so that will help you. So having understood this, now let us talk about another topic. This topic is important. It says how big is the gender gap in earnings. Okay, so previous article that we discussed is related to, let's say, like, a female labor force participation rate, and this is connected with that. Okay, but like in this article, the authors have discussed about the Indian scenario. Indian scenario means like gender gap. For example, if there are 100 males who participate in workforce, right, what is the participation of female, right? What is the participation of female, right? So that is known as, like, male is to female participation rate. So in this article, they have, let's say, given multiple images, multiple graphs. One of the graph is table 1. It says male female ratio of weekly earnings. Okay, male female ratio of weekly earnings. So they have given, let's say, one graph. In this graph, they had talked about, on x-axis they have given, let's say, like, year 2019 to 2022. We are talking about table 1. Okay, we are talking about table 1. So 2019 to 2022, 2019, 20, 21, 22, like that. Okay, so they have talked about regular wage, those people who do work on regular wage, 1, 1.5, 2, then 2.5. In regular wage also, this is the male to female ratio. Means, like, male generally earn more than the female in regular wage, in, let's say, like, if they are salaried people. Okay, if they are on salaried people, salaried work. And then casual means sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. In that case, right, male earns 1.5 times the female. For example, if female is earning let's say, like, 1000 rupees, in that case male will be earning 1500 rupees, like that. Okay, so it is the case. In case of self-employment, the gap is still higher. Means, like, males earn still much higher than female in case of this thing related to weekly earnings. So table 1 talks about weekly earning thing. Table 2 talks about male female ratio, okay, of hours worked. It says that, like, female work lesser number of hours in workplace as compared to male. This is because of certain factors. One of the factor is their health. Other factor is related to their choice of, let's say, spending less time in workplace. So there are multiple socio-economic factors because of which, let's say, their number of hours at workplace is low as compared to male. This is the second table. Third table talks about male female ratio of hourly earning. Means, like, if they are putting 50 hours in a work, right, in a week, so how much female is making and how much male is making. In this case also, males, let's say, outperform females. Means, like, they earn more than females in the workplace. So in this, let's say, article, they have given multiple data points. They have given, let's say, like, information that what is the gap in the payment, in the earnings between male and female, let's say, on a weekly basis, and how much amount of hour do female put in work and how much males put in work. This is mentioned in this article. So this is an important topic. It is important for economy, right, Indian economy. So these points, if you remember, you will be able to reproduce. You can give examples of it. That's the thing. So recently the periodic labor force survey have been let's say, monitoring the recent earning gap. Okay, periodic labor force survey has been earning this, like, doing surveying this thing. So it is released by National Sample Survey Office. So there is an organization which is known as NSSO. They conduct periodic labor force survey, PLFS survey. Okay, so the results that we are seeing, this is from periodic labor force survey. Apart from this, we have another topic. This topic says warming ties. India must understand Bhutan's reasoning of Thimphu's talks with China. Okay, so this is related to international relations. It's bilateral relations between India and Bhutan and China. Okay, so here in this article, basically we are going to understand about, right, we are going to understand about name of the topic, let me write. It's Name of the topic is warming ties. Okay, warming ties. So this topic is important under international relations. It's important for GS paper 2 of the mains exam. Okay, GS paper 2 of mains exam, UPSC CSE mains. In this article, we are going to discuss about bilateral relations between India and Bhutan. Right, India and Bhutan. This is one aspect. And we are going to understand about bilateral relation between Bhutan and China. Okay. So in India, in the Constitution of India, right, in the Constitution of India, we have mentioned that Bhutanese also have certain rights in India. Means like, you know, Bhutan, people from Bhutan are given some kind of, let's say, like, you know, special treatment in, let's say, like, you know, visiting India. For example, if they want to visit in India, if they want to reside in India, or if they want to do job, okay, so in India, means like employment related thing is given. And also Bhutanese people are not considered to be foreign people in that sense. I mean, like, you know, they have been given many rights in India. Okay, that's the thing. So like we have a very deeper ties between India and Bhutan. Many people from the state of Assam directly go to Bhutan, right, through road. I mean, like, you know, no further checks is there. That's the thing. And how about, let's say, like, you know, India and Bhutan does have diplomatic relations between them. If I talk about Bhutan and China, right, so they do not have, right, they have no diplomatic ties. Okay, they do not have any diplomatic ties as of now. Diplomatic ties means they have not shared, let's say, like, you know, these high commissioners between each other's nations. Recently, what has happened? The foreign minister of Bhutan, okay, foreign minister of Bhutan has visited China, and he has talked to his counterpart, the foreign minister of China. Why they have talked? Because they want to, let's say, draw the boundary to demarcate, okay, to demarcate boundary or territory, okay, to demarcate territory. Why it was important? Because, let's say, like, you know, Bhutan shares border with China, okay. If I talk about Bhutan as a nation, right, Bhutan as a nation, it shares border with India to the west, to the south, and to the east. Means like, you know, in all these sides, it has India. To the north only it shares border with China. That's the thing, okay. To the west of Bhutan, we have Sikkim over here. To the east of Bhutan, we have, let's say, Assam and other territories. I mean, like, you know, Arunachal Pradesh. To the south of it, we have West Bengal, right? So Bhutan shares borders with only two countries, right? That's the thing. So Bhutan, the foreign minister of Bhutan has visited China to, let's say, like, you know, outline the boundary between the two nations. And in this article, we are going to see, right? We are going to see the map of Bhutan. So where is Bhutan located, right? This red portion over here that we see, right? This is the map of Bhutan. This is the map of Bhutan. As we see, to the west, it is Arunachal Pradesh. To the south, we have, let's say, like, you know, like this West Bengal, and it shares border with Assam. It shares border with Arunachal Pradesh. So like it shares most of its border with India. It shares some of its border with China also, okay? China also. So this is part of India, like that. So this is the map of Bhutan. Having understood this, we will see another map, okay? This is a detailed map of Bhutan. This is world map, the globe, and here the red dotted line, the red dotted place showcases Bhutan, okay? The red dotted place shows Bhutan. So it's a very small country. Although it's a country, it's a very small country. And if I talk about this map, over here we do have map of China, we have map of India, and this is the Bhutan, which is demarcated. Okay, so this is for your understanding. It is important that we know the, let's say, like borders with which, like, let's say India shares border, the countries with which India shares border. That's the thing. Now we have another topic. This topic is important. This topic is on International Solar Alliance. What? It is on International Solar Alliance. It says International Solar Alliance to release report on global adoption of solar technology in November. So we are going to discuss about some important things through this article, right? Name of the topic, I am just writing International Solar Alliance. Okay, I am writing International Solar Alliance. In short, it is known as ISA. So when we talk about International Solar Alliance, so what is this? This International Solar Alliance is an international grouping. This was established with the initial, let's say, like effort of India and France. Okay, with the initial effort of India and France. Its headquarters is located in India. Where? In Gurugram, right? Its headquarters is located in India, in Gurugram. So if I talk about globe, right, this globe, so over here we have equator, the 0-degree line. It is known as equatorial line, or simply we call it to be equator. Then over here what happens, let's say, like, you know, to the north we have 23.5 degrees, 23.5 degree north latitude. This is the line up to which the sun rays may fall directly, will fall directly. This particular place is known as Tropic of Cancer. Okay, it is known as Tropic of Cancer. Then to the south also there is a line 23.5 degree south S. Okay, 23.5 degree south. This is known as Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, this is known as Tropic of Capricorn. So these two lines are significant. Why these two lines are significant? Because the sun rays or sunlight, right? Sunlight, the sun rays that fall, right? These sun rays may fall vertically up to this point, up to this line. Means sun rays fall vertically between these lines. Okay, this is the thing. What is the significance of this? The significance of this is that those countries who lie between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, they receive sunlight, and since they receive sunlight, they will be able to use solar energy. Okay, they will be used to tap solar energy, right? And solar energy is a significant source of renewable source of energy, and using solar energy we can meet our energy demands. Okay, it is going to help us in meeting our energy demands. That's the thing. Okay, so it is going to help us in meeting the energy demands. That's the thing. And this International Solar Alliance wants to tap this. So it has opened membership to all those countries that receive sunlight, irrespective whether like they fall between the Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn. So some countries, let's say that fall outside the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn also, they may be receiving sunlight, maybe slanted sunlight, not the direct sunlight on them. They may also tap the, let's say, benefit of solar energy, and those countries will be, let's say, provided solar energy by all those countries that are part of this belt. Okay, that's the thing. And apart from this, Government of India has also initiated a project. This is known as One Sun, One World. Okay, One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative. Okay, One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative. OSOWOG. One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative. So under this, let's say all those countries that receive sunlight, they will be connected with one another, so that those countries that receive surplus sunlight, so surplus energy, they can share that energy with other countries. Okay, like that. So in this article, basically they have talked about International Solar Alliance, and this International Solar Alliance is going to come up with a global stocktake report. Okay, in this article they have discussed about that this International Solar Alliance is going to come up with a kind of global stocktake report, and this global stocktake report will be little different than the global stocktake report which is released by United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, UNFCCC is an organization that, let's say, under Paris Agreement, okay, under Paris Agreement, this Paris Agreement has been signed in 2015 by different countries, and these countries have taken a target. Okay, they have taken a target that they want to, let's say, they want to, control the global warming at a level of 1.5 degrees centigrade temperature rise above pre-industrial level, or at most less than 2 degrees centigrade rise in temperature by the year of 2100, like that. Okay, so these are the targets to related to global warming. These are the targets related to global warming, and these targets, I mean, they talk about comparing this thing to pre-industrial level. Okay, pre-industrial level. So as compared to pre-industrial level, we do not want the global temperature to rise beyond 1.5 degree centigrade. Okay, 1.5 degree centigrade as compared to pre-industrial level. So these are the targets of Paris Agreement. So under this Paris Agreement, this organization UNFCCC, we need to check name of this organization once again. So under this Paris Agreement, they come up with a report which is known as Global Stocktake Report. Okay, Global Stocktake Report. So this Global Stocktake Report is released once every 5 years, and this report talks about the efforts that different countries have taken, the initiatives that different countries have taken related to global warming. Okay, that's the thing. So this International Solar Alliance, they are also thinking of coming up with this particular thing, which is Global Stocktake Report related to, let's say, solar energy. So I'm going to write down this name also for you, okay, quickly, the exact name of the Global Stocktake Report. Okay, so Global Solar Stocktake Report, this stocktake report is known as Global Solar Stocktake Report. Okay, what do we mean by stocktake? Stocktake means accounting. Okay, it's a kind of accounting, means how many countries have achieved their solar energy targets. Okay, so this is, I mean, like, all the countries will share the data, and these data will be compiled, and these data will be shared by the International Solar Alliance. This topic is important, and as part of International Solar Alliance, how many countries are there? Number of countries is also important, right? In this article, they have mentioned about number of countries that are part of International Solar Alliance. It is around 116 countries, I think, like I read in today's article, right? So you can read in your free time. So this is a good topic, good article. So there is a question, it says, with reference to International Solar Alliance, consider the following statements. One of the statement, it was conceptualized on the sidelines of 21st Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change held in Paris, 2015. This is wrong. Okay. Its headquarter is in France, with its interim secretariat being set up in France. India is a member of ISA. This is right. Okay. How many of the above statement is correct? Only one of them is correct. Okay. So first, okay. So this might have been conceptualized. Okay, so first statement is right in this question. Okay, just a minute. First is right, second is right, third is right, second is not right. Okay, because its headquarter is in Gurugram, that I said. Okay, it was conceptualized earlier, but it was set up later. Okay, it was set up later. That's the thing. International Solar Alliance. So with this, we will move to another topic quickly. Okay, this topic is important. Simultaneous polls. Simultaneous polls means, like, you know, you might have heard this particular thing. One nation, one election concept. Okay, all of us may have heard about this thing. One nation, one election means for the entire country we want to conduct the election in one go, and this election will make sure that the Lok Sabha elections that happen and the state legislative assembly elections are conducted simultaneously. Okay, are conducted simultaneously. Like, who is proposing this idea? This idea is being proposed by the central government. Okay, this idea is being proposed by the central government. Why they want to go for one nation, one election system? So that they can reduce election expenditure. Okay, they can reduce election expenditure. This is one part. Second, if they conduct elections simultaneously, right, for Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly, so election will happen just one time, and they will be free for, let's say, like, you know, 4.5 to 5 years, and they will be able to focus on governance. Okay, to focus on what? To focus on governance. That's the thing. And they will be able to come out of the cycle of election, re-election, like that. So this is the proposal of the central government. However, this idea is not as simple as it seems to, because it needs constitutional amendment at various places. Not only it needs constitutional amendment, but apart from constitutional amendments also, it is very difficult to implement in practice, because the Election Commission of India does not have as many EVM, electronic voting machine, that will be required to conduct simultaneous elections. So it's going to have huge one-time expenditure for the Election Commission. Election Commission of India does not have sufficient manpower also, like, who will be stationed at different places, different polling booths at the same time to conduct the election across the nation. That's the thing. Apart from this, some people have suggested that it may require, right, it will be appropriate to go from the parliamentary system of government to presidential system of government if they want to implement one nation, one election system. That has been said by Shashi Tharoor earlier in an article. Okay, that's the thing. And related to one nation, one election concept, the central government has formulated a high-level committee. Okay, this high-level committee is headed by former President of India, Ram Nath Kovind. Okay, Ram Nath Kovind. So so it was a 12-member panel. Recently, I mean, like, you know, they have met with election officials. They have also discussed with the Law Commission of India, and now they have said that they are going to rename this particular commission, high-level commission on one nation, one election. That's the thing. Okay. So high-level committee on one nation, one election, like that. Okay. So this is a short topic. However, these are the connected issues with that article. Then we have another short topic. It says center approves 22,303 crore subsidy on key fertilizers. As we know that, like, you know, fertilizers are used by farmers. Okay. Farmers use fertilizers. Why? For multiple purposes. Number one, to increase productivity, right? To increase productivity in the field, right? Second thing is, some of these fertilizers also have pesticides in it. Okay, they have, it's a pesticides as components. That's the thing. It provides proper nutrients. Okay, it provides proper nutrients to the fields. That's the thing. So these are the reasons for which fertilizers are used, and fertilizers have been used since the first green revolution. Okay, so we know the green revolution that was that was initiated by like one of the person who has recently died, MS Swaminathan. Okay, green revolution, like that. So recently the central government has decided to reduce the price of fertilizer bags, and we do have different kinds of fertilizers. For example, one of the fertilizer type is known as DAP. DAP stands for diammonium phosphate. Then we have NPK. Okay, NPK fertilizer. NPK means where we have nitrogen, we have phosphorus, we have potassium. All right. Then we also have, let's say, like, phosphorus and potassium type of fertilizers. So for different types of fertilizers, government has, let's say, decided to reduce prices to certain level. Apart from this, we do have another MOP type fertilizer. What do we mean by MOP? It means muriate of potash. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, single super phosphate. Like, we do have various categories of fertilizers. I'm not going into the technicalities of these because like it is taught in a science and technology class in detail, but like, these are constituents of these fertilizers. Fertilizers are used by farmers in their fields to increase the productivity, to give proper nutrients to the soil, right? And some fertilizers have pesticidal properties as well. Okay, so that's the thing. So there is a question, you can go through this question and you can solve this question in your free time. Explanation is also given over here. I'm not going to discuss in detail at this point of time. Then we have another topic, the last topic for the day. This is related to Indian economy. It says pulses to buck rise in Kharif output. Okay, so this article is related to pulses. Okay, so like we have two seasons primarily, Rabi season and Kharif season. So the thing is like, there will be lesser productivity of pulses, right, in the coming months, and because of lesser productivity, the price of pulses may go up. So in this article they have said this. So it says economists expect retail inflation for pulses, means price of pulses in the market is going to go up, it's going to increase, and cereals to stay elevated among the a bleaker outlook for production, means the production is going to go down. Since production is going to go down, the price will go up related to fertilizers and cereals. That's the thing. This is what is mentioned. They have talked about multiple data. I mean, like what percentage of it is going down, up. That's not the point of concern for us. So it says, despite below normal rains, Kharif crop sowing inched up by this thing. However, jute, pulses, cotton and oilseeds witnessed declines. Pulses output is seen dropping to a 6.7 to 9.3 million tons range from this thing. Okay, since productivity or production of pulses is going down, so that's why prices may go up and it may see inflation in the market. Okay, that's the thing. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.